You don't know a single thing about me.
The bell over the door at Sunny Plate Diner jingled the same way it had for 15 years, and Delia Freeman didn't even look up anymore. She knew the sound of every regular's footsteps, knew who liked their coffee black before they said a word, knew who needed extra napkins before the ketchup hit the table. Booth 6 meant Grant Whitfield, same as every Tuesday and Thursday at noon. Grant was a real estate developer, the kind of man whose name showed up on plaques at the Children's Hospital and the university's new wing. He wore suits that cost more than Delia made in a month, and he always sat alone, always ordered the same meatloaf special, and always left a tip that made the other waitresses whisper. "Careful, girl," her coworker Renee had told her once, only half joking. "That man tips like he's trying to buy his way into heaven." Delia had laughed it off. She didn't think much of Grant's generosity beyond simple gratitude, until the night she overheard him at the counter, phone pressed to his ear, voice low but not low enough. No, she's fine, she's just, she's had it rough. I try to help where I can. Poor thing's probably barely keeping the lights on." Delia's hand stilled over the coffee pot. She kept pouring. She didn't say a word. But something in her chest went very quiet and very still. That night, after close, Delia sat in her car in the empty lot behind the diner and thought about the last 15 years. She thought about her late husband, Marcus, and the promise she'd made to him in the hospital room 3 years ago, his hand thin and cool in hers. "Don't you go soft on me now," he'd said, smiling even through the pain. "Promise me you'll keep working with your hands. Don't let nobody put you behind some desk feeling sorry for you. You hear me?" She'd promised. She hadn't fully understood, back then, how many people would eventually try to break that promise for her, not with cruelty, but with pity dressed up as kindness. Delia's grandmother, Odessa Mae Freeman, had raised her in this same town, cleaning houses by day and buying up cheap, forgotten properties by night, one crumbling duplex at a time, over 40 years, until she quietly owned 5 buildings by the time she passed. One of them was the very building that housed Sunny Plate Diner. Delia had inherited all of it 3 years before Marcus died, and she had never once mentioned it to a single customer. She didn't wait tables because she had to. She waited tables because it was the last piece of her old life that still felt like hers, the one thing nobody could take, sell, or manage on her behalf. Her hands, her feet, her 15 years of memorized orders. That was hers. Grant Whitfield's pity, though, that stung in a place she hadn't expected. The next Tuesday, Grant came in at noon like clockwork. Delia brought his meatloaf special, refilled his coffee, and when he slid the folded bill toward her, $500, same as always lately, she didn't pick it up. "Mr. Whitfield," she said, sliding it back with 2 fingers. "I need you to stop doing this." Grant blinked up at her, genuinely confused. "Delia, it's just a tip. I want to help. I know what you think you're doing." Her voice stayed even, steady, the same voice she used to calm down a screaming toddler in booth 4 or a stressed-out trucker running late. "But I heard you on the phone last month. Talking about the poor thing who's barely keeping the lights on. Telling your friends at the club about the waitress you're helping." Grant's face went through several colors at once, pale, then red, then something like shame. "I didn't mean any disrespect," he said. I see you here, every shift, every day, and I figured. You figured a woman waiting tables at 53 must be desperate," Delia said. "You never once asked me my last name until 3 years ago, when you finally read it off my name tag. You've been telling people my story for months, and you don't even know it." The diner had gone quiet around them. Renee stood frozen by the register, a coffee pot forgotten in her hand. Grant set his fork down slowly. "Then tell me," he said. "Tell me the story, if I've got it so wrong." Delia hesitated. 15 years of guarding this, not out of shame, but because it was hers, private, sacred in its own way. But something about the stunned, almost pleading look on Grant's face made her decide, for the first time, to let a stranger in. "My grandmother, Odessa May, cleaned houses in this town for 40 years, Delia said. While she did, she bought up property nobody wanted, buildings falling apart, lots nobody would touch. She fixed them up herself, rented them out, saved every dime. By the time she passed, she owned 5 buildings in this town." Grant's brow furrowed. 5 buildings. This one included. Delia nodded slowly toward the ceiling, the walls, the whole diner around them. "I own the building we're standing in, Mr. Whitfield. Have for 3 years now. Along with 4 others." The color drained fully from Grant's face. "You're my landlord's landlord," he said faintly. You're not struggling at all." "No," Delia said. "I'm not." "Then why," Grant asked, voice cracking slightly, "why are you here? Why wait tables at all?" Delia glanced toward the kitchen window, where a faded photograph was taped beside the order wheel, her and Marcus, young and laughing, at this very counter, 20 years ago, back when he used to come in for pie every Friday night. "My husband made me promise him something before he passed," she said quietly. "He didn't want money to change who I was. He didn't want me sitting behind some desk, disconnected from people, forgetting how to use my own 2 hands. This," she gestured at the apron, the notepad tucked in her waistband, "this is the last thing that's still just mine. Not my grandmother's legacy. Not my husband's memory. Mine." Grant sat there, humiliation working slowly into something softer, something closer to understanding. "I told people I was helping you," he said. "I used you, your situation, or what I thought was your situation, to make myself look generous at the club. I never once asked your name properly. I just assumed." "You did," Delia said, not unkindly. "A lot of people do." "I'm sorry, Delia," Grant said, and for the first time, her name in his mouth sounded like it actually meant something to him. "I truly am." Delia picked the folded $500 bill back up off the counter, and for the first time, she didn't hand it back. She simply held it out toward the tip jar by the register instead, dropping it in for the whole staff to split, evenly, the way it always should have been. Word got around the diner slowly over the following weeks, not through gossip, but through the quiet shift in how people treated Delia. Renee started introducing her properly to new hires. "This is Ms. Freeman. She's owned this building longer than most of you have been alive." The other waitresses stood a little straighter around her, not out of fear, but respect. Grant kept coming in, same booth, same Tuesdays and Thursdays. But something had changed. He left normal tips now, fair, generous, but never again dressed up as charity. And every time Delia brought his coffee, he asked her something real, about the diner's history, about Odessa May, about what Marcus had been like. One afternoon, months later, Grant looked up from his meatloaf special and said, almost sheepishly, "I realize I never actually asked. What's your name? Your full name, I mean. Not what's on the tag." Delia smiled, the first real smile she'd given him in 15 years of Tuesdays and Thursdays. "Delia Odessa Freeman," she said. "Named after my grandmother." "Delia Odessa Freeman," Grant repeated, like he was memorizing something important for the very first time. "It's a good name. I should have asked a long time ago." "You should have," Delia agreed, and refilled his coffee, her hands steady, sure, and entirely her own. The end.